So there has been a great increase in anti-Imam, anti-Muslim violence in Iran over the past year. Do you think ex-Muslims have a moral responsibility duty to condemn this publicly? Anti-Imam, anti-Muslim violence in Iran. Is there anti-Muslim violence in Iran? I don't even know about this. So
look at this article.
Mm-hmm. So hang on. So so anti-Imam. So like, are you talking about the moral brigade and all those people being beaten up?
No, there are people. Okay, so this is just one report. There's so many of this happening. Okay, so more and more people in Iran who are tired of Islam and are annoyed with Islam are using violence as a way to express their hatred. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think about this?
Well, obviously this is wrong. I mean, we can't.
No, so I know. The question is not whether this is wrong or not, because obviously it's wrong. Okay. The question is that, do you think we have a moral responsibility to condemn it? Like, if
Look, I think we do, because I think if we say that no political ambition should be achieved through violence, if we say that, then being public speakers and influencers, then if that question is posed, okay, so I'm trying to differentiate between, if you're asked, then what would you say versus what you would proactively do?
Obviously, if we're asked, we're going to say, this is horrible, we condemn this, this is not the way, this is violence, obviously this is evil, okay? So that's what we would do if we are asked, okay? But the question is, should we just come out and say this even without asking? Hey, pay attention to this is important.
Yeah,
okay. Should we actually come out and condemn this even if we are not asked? Like, is it a responsibility? Is not just a good idea, but a responsibility?
Yeah, it's one of those things, as we said, that I would say so, because as I said again, like, because when violence gets involved, and if we say centrally then no violence should be used, then if it happens even against your enemies, you can't really, it becomes a moral responsibility to condemn that. Yeah.
Okay, so if you're saying it's a moral responsibility, that means that it would be immoral if we don't come out and condemn it.
No, because then it could be knowingly.
So let's say you hear this news.
I get it. Okay, I get it. Okay, no, I don't. I think there would always be a gray area as well, because it's not black and white, like moral or immoral. There's a gray area in there, like I'm just strategically being silent.
Why? Okay, you said it's a responsibility. Let's say you saw this news. Okay, 8 stabbed in southern Iran. Okay, in fresh attack at mosque. Okay, and you saw like mullahs. Like there was another news where two mullahs, where 2 young men came and started beating them to death to try to kill them with iron rods. Okay, and then they ran away when a crowd showed up. Okay, but they were hospitalized and everything. Let's say you saw that happened just recently. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. Okay, and even before that, there were 2 mullahs that were stabbed. Okay, and this is increasing in Iran, like these attacks on religious people and mullahs. Okay, if me and you are anti-Islam activists, okay? So some people say that the things that we say might come across as against Muslims, not just against Islam, right? So given that, if you saw a news like this, okay, and you're like, oh, that's bad, but you didn't come on a stream or didn't tweet about it and didn't condemn it, would that be immoral that you didn't tweet about it or condemn it?
Oh no! It would be. I think it would be dodgy. I would say. I think which of dodgy being falls in the lower spectrum of immorality. Obviously, there's a spectrum as well. So I think you could say that it's dodgy. Like, Harry's probably enjoying that deep down inside. But yeah,
so every time you see a Muslim being attacked for being a Muslim.
This is one second point. This is why I wanted to draw the line between, because like I have certain amount of hours that I can give. And being a certain part of activists, I can. Okay, so there it is. This is probably a better answer. That, for example, a lot of people ask me, Harris, the bigger problem at the base of Pakistan is military intervention, which prevents the true democracy to flourish, and as a result, more Islamism spreads, and so on. The core is the military problem. And I say, look, as a matter of a policy, I've said it that I'm not in support of military getting involved in Pakistani democracy, but I cannot post and talk about every military issue in my stream because hang on.
Military issue.
No, it's the same thing. I'm giving you the logic. I'm saying it's the same thing. So with this one, so let's just say these attacks multiply, okay? And now all of a sudden I have to juggle between, okay, the 10 stories of Islam that I want to cover, and then there's 4 stories about these Muslim, Islamic, the Revolutionary Guards, etc., being attacked. So I'm not interested in that. I don't have time to investigate, and I'm not going to talk about it. So although I can just give my generic statement,
first of all,
it won't.
It takes you less than 1 minute.
No, and then what? And okay, so there's like 5 stories. I have to cover each and every one of them. No, I won't cover them.
No, there's I would right now so far 3 in total.
I would give a statement. This is what I'm saying. I would give a statement, and I would talk about it once. That okay, what's happening is wrong, and I think I've said it now. That I would say it's wrong, but I'm sorry. I have so many other things to do.
Okay, so what about you thinking that Muslims have the responsibility of condemning every attack that other Muslims do?
I don't say that. No, I don't say that. I actually don't say that. This is what I spoke with Friendly Muslim. I said, but when it comes up and when you're asked about it, and this is what I actually tweeted about it, and I say, so ask them, what are your thoughts about that? This is what I said, that if you are asked, like you asked me, what do you think about this? Like this patron asked you. So I gave you my statement. So I don't think a Muslim would have to go
out.
You're
thinking, so I'm just trying to see if you're consistent or not, okay? So you don't think every Muslim has to come out and condemn every attack that is done by other Muslims?
Yeah.
You think the responsibility is that when you ask them, for them, at that moment, they have to condemn the attack that you're asking them about?
Yeah, when you're looking at it. Yeah, so the difference between giving a policy statement, what you believe in, versus going in details of that. For example, like when I say I wasn't interested in Hindu ideas, I don't care. I don't know anything about it. But because I'm spreading atheism or talking about atheist ideas, so people say, what do you think about Hinduism? So they say, okay, well, this is what I think about Hinduism. This is what I think about Judaism. But I don't cover every stupid Jewish news story or every stupid Christian story. I don't. I focus on Islam, even though with a sprinkle of here and there, after Islam, obviously, a lot more of Hinduism, and then a sprinkle of Judaism and Christianity. So yeah. So I've said it as a matter of policy. I don't think I'm going to look after even more. I'm going to look it up even more, because my responsibility is like people who take me as an influencer. Am I contributing towards spreading violence? So I'm saying I want to make sure that isn't the case. So I would say over and over again that if your political ambitions take you to lead you to a path of violence, I don't condone that. Don't look towards me. But whatever else is happening in the world, I'm sorry, I can't talk about everything. I do talk about.
I mean, this is related though. It's not everything else in the world. Okay, so it is true that even if we don't intend it, our narratives can be used for hatred and even violence against Muslims. That is true.
But if I say no, yeah, it can be, but only
to reduce the chance of that happening. I think it's a good. I don't say it's a responsibility, because I'm not I'm not a virtue ethicist, right? I'm a utilitarianist, so I only think about things that are better and things that are worse, right? And I think it's helpful for our cause to make sure that it's not abused like that. So when we see violence on Muslims, I think I agree that it's a blanket statement is good enough to be like, you know what, I don't condone this is bad, this is evil, violence is bad, right? But I think it would be more helpful if we see it, if it comes across us that violence on Muslims is happening. I think if we call it out and if you condemn it, it actually helps your words not being. Yeah,
I agree. I agree, but again, I'll go back to it again. Like how many, like for example, this is the first time I've actually heard about it, and how many other secularists, etc., have been attacked in Iran or something. It's just not possible. Like the only reason I spoke about Masa is because I follow you, or it became such a big news story. That's the only reason I talked about it. Before Masa, I don't know who else. What else? She wasn't the first one, and definitely not the last one. So we can only talk about what becomes a big story. So I want to make it clear that if you don't see every news story that is covered, like for example, if a hijabi woman is pushed down the stairs in Berlin or London or something and becomes a big story, I would definitely talk about it. And I think I have spoken about it a few months ago.
Why?
Huh?
Why is that? Like, what's the difference between that? Like, if it happens in, did you just say if it happens in Berlin, you would definitely talk about it?
No, but I'm just giving an example that wherever it happens, if it happens, because it's more likely to happen in Berlin than it's likely to happen in a Muslim country, yeah, for wearing a hijab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So a lot of that is actually limited to what reaches me as well, or people like us. That's why horses for courses can't talk about everything.
Okay. I thought you were saying that if it happens in Berlin, it's more important. I was because of doing something else. I was.
You zoomed out. You zoned out.
To have your questions answered on the next live stream, become my patron today. You can do so with as little as $1 a month. Link in the description below.